Welcome to The Beauty Shift, proudly sponsored by Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women.
I'm Michelle Phillips.
I'm a celebrity stylist and beauty expert, a national TV personality, and self-confidence coach. And over the years, I've worked with some of the most recognized faces in the world, helping them look and feel their absolute best inside and out.
That ultimate inner outer wow. Now that's true beauty, my friends.
Welcome to The Beauty Shift. I'm your host, Michelle Phillips. Today, I'm going to share a very personal story with you, one that no one really prepares you for. And that is what it feels like as a woman to look in the mirror and see your hair falling out. And the reason I'm sharing this is because it's very deeply shocking when you notice not just shedding, but like you're losing a lot of hair. And in my case, a few years ago when I was going through a health scare, I realized I had lost clumps of hair, like back here in the crown, in my temple area. And it was my hairstylist that brought it to my attention. I'm going to share more of that story with you today during this episode. But bottom line, I remember the panic that I felt because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Because in the top of your head, you can't exactly cover that up. I hadn't heard of anything out there at the time that worked for women to regrow hair. There are lots of products for men, but they were too harsh and too strong. And honestly, I didn't like the feel of the products, and I really wasn't seeing any results. And I was told that it wasn't really a good idea to use those products, that they were too strong. So working in the industry, the beauty industry for 30 years, thankfully, I have a lot of connections. And through those connections, I found a solution. And there is a solution. I'm going to share it with you today because if you're listening right now, there's a big chance that you're dealing with thinning hair, or hair loss of some kind, or hair breakage due to just years of damage, right? 1 in 3 women are suffering from hair loss in our country. That's a pretty big number. And, if you think about how it's okay for guys to lose hair or to even go bald, it's considered sexy. But for women, it's not. So that's why I feel this is so important to talk about, because most women that I know that are going through this suffer in silence. They're feeling a lot of shame around losing hair because also as women, like our confidence, our identity, it's a lot of it's connected to our hair. It seems superficial, but it's really something that wreaks havoc inside of us internally when our hair is falling out. So it's important to educate ourselves on hair loss. It's important to learn why this is happening. And most importantly, how we can reverse it. Not only can we grow our hair back, but most importantly, we can get our confidence back. And that's what I'm all about. So today I am super excited to share a wonderful guest, Colleen Camp. She is here with us today because her mission is to inspire, empower, and educate women. Colleen is a certified trichologist, and she's also featured in big magazine publications like Modern Salon, Beauty Span, Salon Today, and many more. She's also a sought-after speaker on this topic. She knows exactly what works and what doesn't. And she also knows why thinning hair is on the rise, especially for women. So she's going to educate us and also help us understand how we can regrow our hair and keep that hair. And not only keep that hair, but the hair we have, help it look thicker and stronger and fuller. Who doesn't want that, right? So without further ado, please join me in welcoming to the show, Ms. Colleen Camp. Colleen, welcome to The Beauty Shift. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Michelle, I am so privileged to spend time with you. You know, I'm a big fan of your show, and I couldn't be more excited when you called and said, hey, we're going to talk a little bit about hair regrowth and different types of hair loss. And so, yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here. I'm equally as honored to have you join me. And, because you and I have spent time over the past few months talking about this topic. It is something that, of course, I've been working with Keranique for a while now, and I have been doing so because of my own hair loss journey and how I regrew my hair that I had lost after using Keranique. And so I'll share that story a little bit later. But it really has become so prevalent that
Mm.
women are suffering more and more from thinning hair. I get it all the time where women reach out to me and say, help, my hair is thinning, what do I do? And even more, I get questions about hair loss over, what do I do about my wrinkles or my body changing? It's because when we lose our hair as women, we lose a part of our identity. And it sounds superficial, but when it happened to me, it really took my confidence down because it was coming out in areas where it was very prevalent, like right here in the front of, in my temple area in the back. Men can lose their hair and even be bald, and they're considered handsome. So talk about, from your point of view as a trichologist, what you're seeing in terms of the trends of women losing hair, women of all ages.
Michelle, same here. It is the number one question that I'm getting asked right now. And as females, I mean, our hair is our most important accessory. You don't, you put an outfit on, you don't necessarily like that outfit, so you grab something else. But you know what? If you're having a good hair day, you're going to have a good day. So
That's so true. When your hair, you're having a bad hair day, it just it wreaks havoc on
it
everything.
does. It does. Absolutely. From a trichologist point of view, I just got into trichology just to help people, because I had so many questions about female hair loss and the different types of hair loss. And people were just wanting to understand, a little bit better the why of what's going on below the scalp.
Before we dive into the why, can you share with those who don't know what a trichologist is, the work that you do?
So a trichologist bridges the gap between cosmetology and dermatology. And they're a highly specialized expert that only focuses on types of hair loss, prevention, hair regrowth. A lot of times, unless it's a dermatologist that specializes, in hair regrowth, a trichologist will have the most knowledge over hairstylist and dermatologist because that's all they focus on.
What is causing hair loss for women at, it's not just when we're getting older, it's ages, 20s and up. What's going
Mhm.
on that's really increasing us losing hair?
Yeah, the big three with women is androgenetic alopecia, which is just a big medical term for genetic thinning, meaning it either runs in our mother or our father's side. The second biggest reason that we lose our hair is women is telogen effluvium. I do have good news there. It's almost always temporary, and your hair almost always comes back. The third one would be postpartum shedding. 50% of young moms have significant shedding and density loss after having that beautiful little loved one. So those would be the big three that females are experiencing when it comes to hair loss or hair loss prevention. Two out of the three are preventable and treatable. Genetic hair loss, it just progresses and it gets worse and worse, but you can slow it down and you can keep the hair anchored longer in the follicle site with treatment.
What's the normal amount of shedding that we should see, so that way we recognize, oh, wait a second, this isn't normal?
Yeah, great question. What is normal shedding? So, normal shedding is 75 hairs a day. However, it all depends on your hair texture and also if you have straight or curly hair and how often you wash your hair. So, I'll give you an example. Someone that has fine, straight strands that washes their hair every day, they're not going to see much hair in the shower, in the drain, in the brush. But if you have long, highly textured hair, you may, most likely, you're probably only washing your hair once, maybe twice a week, but your hair strand stays intact inside your hairstyle until you hop in the shower and you wash and condition. And then that's when you see those 75 hairs a day, potentially times, 5 days. If it's been 5 days since you had your last wash, that could be upwards of 600 to 700 hairs, and that could feel like a lot, but it may be normal. It may still be the 75 hairs a day average. So what I tell my clients and patients to look for is, did you have a change in your shedding cycle? Did you do anything differently? Did you start washing your hair more often? Did you start washing your hair less? Stop brushing your hair, that type of thing. So it's really the change in this shedding cycle is what you're looking for. And if you didn't change anything in your wash cycle, then it might be time to seek treatment.
For me, I just started seeing more and more hair on the floor of my bathroom, my vanity, in the drain of my shower. And I was thinking, is this normal? And then, the ponytail getting, thinner and thinner. So, those are some of the signs, seeing more and more hair on your brush than normal. I think a lot of times, you don't really pay attention, but when it gets significantly more, my husband actually was the one that pointed it out to me. He's like, I think I need a little vacuum cleaner, just to follow you around because you're losing, shedding so much hair.
I did have a client here this last week that told me, she goes, I purposely don't take the hair out of my brush until once a week because I want to see if I'm having, that's her measurement, is leaving the hair in the brush and only cleaning her brush once a week because she wants to see, did she have more hair or not? And I thought, that's kind of clever. That's a good way to measure.
So the statistics that, I share when I'm on HSN and sharing my love for Keranique is that 1 in 3 women are suffering from hair loss or hair thinning.
Mm-hmm.
And that 10 years ago, it used to be 1 in 4 women.
Mm-hmm.
So this has become more and more significant.
Telogen effluvium, you're going to see it as TE online. And that is stress shedding. So that's when your follicle site gets inflamed, it gets attacked, your cortisol levels go up, and you end up, sometimes women, have like a 50% density loss from that. But it almost always, comes back. But it could be simply a lot of stress in your life, if you're going through maybe, a life-changing situation, a divorce, something like that, that can cause your cortisol levels to go up and attack the follicle site. The other one, this thing, the pandemic that we experienced here a few years ago.
Yeah.
So that caused what we call a COVID strand and a COVID shedding. And it was affected, women are affected more by the COVID shed than men. And it usually takes 1.5 to 2 years for that hair to grow back. So between higher stress levels and then us going through the pandemic, yes, a lot more women are being affected by density loss.
And also, I would love to talk about the GLP-1. Those I've read have caused significant hair loss in women. Is this true?
So it's interesting. There is no proof yet that the drug itself is causing it. But what it is showing is it's malnutrition to the hair strand itself. So we simply are not getting enough nutrients. When somebody is on, and I've seen it firsthand, I mean, people are dropping an incredible amount of weight. They get so excited. They start dropping the weight right away. And they literally, the drug kills your appetite and you just don't eat, and you crave sweets and you eat like maybe a little bit of sweets. And then that's what you don't eat again until that evening. But it's right now, it's showing it's not the drug itself. It is the malnutrition and is the lack of protein. So even though you probably won't have an appetite on that drug, it's still very, very important to monitor that weight loss and not try to speed it up too fast. You want to get at least 100 grams of protein a day, at least, at a minimum. And of course, you want to eat healthy and you want to eat clean. And you don't feel like that when you're on that drug. So it is so important, though, because it is devastating, because when it starts shedding, it is very, very severe. I mean, it's usually up to 50% density loss.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that's another thing that I was told many moons ago, is that once you start realizing that you are losing hair, that
Mhm.
almost 50% of your hair is gone. And
Right.
that was a startling statement when someone shared that with me. And I thought, oh my gosh, because,
Mhm.
for me, and here's another issue that I'm sure you have people come to you all the time, is when they have health challenges. And for
Mhm.
me, I had a health challenge and I had to have surgery, and I'm fine now. But I mean, I went to get my hair done about a month later, and my hairstylist said, what's going on? Like, you have a
Mm.
bald patch back here and then right here, which is all grown back in. But I had this huge spot. This was had all the whole clump just out, gone. I didn't even
Mm.
know until my hairstylist told me. Working in the beauty industry for 30 years, I thought, oh my gosh, I've had clients come to me for years saying, what do I use? My hair's thinning. Or, working in television and movies and covers of magazines, we all had wardrobes of hair. Our clients would clip in, or, all kinds of different wigs and stuff that women were always adding to their hair for more density and more thickness, because there wasn't a lot of it as they were aging. And so I started thinking, oh my gosh, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get my hair back, because extensions or clip, any of those things, those are back here and it's not on the top of my head where I was balding. Thankfully, I have connections in the beauty industry. So I started doing my research and reaching out to some people that I knew that introduced me to Keranique. But when I came across the website, I saw these women, their before and afters of using the Keranique hair products after only 6 months, and the significant, amounts of hair that grew back, and then the length, and then the density and the thickness and the healthiness of the hair. It completely, it struck me, and I thought, oh, okay, is this for real? But then there was videos of these women seeing their before and afters for the first time, their first, the reveal, when they hadn't even realized until they saw the images how much of a transformation their hair went through in 6 months, significantly better. And they were in tears,
Mm.
crying, overwhelmed with joy. And that's when I said, okay, I've got nothing to lose but more hair. Let's go for this and let's do it. And it has been incredible, because not only is my hair grown back, but also it's healthier, it's thicker, fuller, more and more over time. I would love for you to share how this works. Like, what is it that is actually helping women grow their hair back?
Definitely, you can energize the mitochondria. And the mitochondria, again, is just a big medical term for your powerhouse of cells at the base of your hair follicle. And your hair follicle is loaded with millions of them. And it is possible to stimulate that mitochondria in a non drug formulation. So you can do that. You can do that through topical serums. They have fantastic delivery systems now. A lot of skincare technology is used now in scalp care, which makes sense. You think about how well we take care of our facial tissue, but then when we get to our hairline and then we go a few inches back, and sometimes we forget to really, take care of our scalp.
Mhm.
But caffeine, a fabulous ingredient, because it stimulates blood flow to the base of the hair follicle, which is, again, is where we get our nutrients. And then there's also, the drug minoxidil, which is FDA. I mean, it's proven to regrow hair, and it works great as well. Not everyone can use minoxidil, but most can. But there's botanical treatments too, as well. And then, of course, the botanical rich, shampoos and conditioners. And from the very first use, I was like, oh my gosh, my little tiny fine strands are so full. I've never had my hair this full before. So, yeah, so from the very first use, I mean, I know hair growth takes time, but to have that cosmetic effect from the very first use, I was in love from the very first use as well.
That's a really good point because when I'm on HSN, I share my wow now factor, which is just using the shampoo, conditioner, and then the lift and repair treatment just one time. After one use, you increase the look of density, thickness, and volume by 169%. It's so important because when we're losing our hair and our hair's thinning, that's the most difficult part of it is getting that volume, getting that density and that thickness.
Mm,
And so it gives you that factor of like feeling better immediately while you're growing your hair back because that takes time, right? That when you're
sure.
applying the hair serum, whether it be the botanical or the minoxidil, whichever you choose, because Keranique has both options. How long does it take till you start seeing your hair grow back once you start using it?
Well, the hair growth cycle is varied per human. We know that. I see in about 5 to 6 weeks.
Hmm.
Now with supplementation, so I always love the trifecta is using the system, using shampoo, conditioner, scalp treatment, and then also supplementation. Most people react to supplementation in about 2 weeks. You start to see nail growth because your nails are keratin too, right? Just like your hair.
Right. Oh,
And
that's
so
true.
if you're reacting and you're seeing a little bit of nail growth, then you're probably going to see hair growth right behind that, meaning that supplement is giving you something that you did not have before.
But it's not a one and done, right? Like you want to continually use the hair regrowth, either the serum or the foam. Why is that?
I like to tell my clients it's kind of like when you're going to the gym and you're working out and you got that really nice muscle tone. If you stop going to the gym one day, you're not going to lose that muscle tone overnight, but you are going to lose the benefits over time. And it's the same way with hair health and hair regrowth. So if you're having great results, most people don't stop using because they're having great results. But if you do, it's not like you're going to have your hair's not going to revert back, instantly. But I see it takes about the same amount of time to lose hair as it does to gain benefits.
Mm.
But just keep using the system and keep that hair anchored as long as possible in the follicle site. And don't take that risk of not continuing, to do treatment.
Exactly. And I just love the whole system because it really helps you take care of the hair that you have while you're growing your new hair back in.
Mhm.
And recently I was traveling and I took off with my shampoo and conditioner, but didn't realize I was in a rush. So I didn't realize they were almost empty. And so we
No.
were in, on the other side of the state and I had to just go buy something real quick. And what a difference you see in your hair. It's almost like when you eat
Mhm.
super healthy and then you go start eating junk food. You sometimes don't even realize the difference
Right.
until you stop. So
Yes.
I just want to take a quick moment to thank our amazing sponsor, Keranique, the go-to brand for women's hair growth solutions. If you're looking for healthier, thicker, more beautiful hair, no matter what hair concerns you have, Keranique has got you covered. Their products are clinically proven and dermatologist recommended, offering a complete hair care system, including treatments, shampoos, conditioners, and supplements to help you achieve stronger, fuller looking hair from the inside out. So whether you're starting your hair regrowth journey or maintaining gorgeous, healthy locks, Keranique has a solution for you. And as a Beauty Shift listener, you get 25% off site-wide. All you have to do is head over to store.keranique.com and use the code BeautyShift25 at checkout. Thanks again, Keranique, for supporting the Beauty Shift and helping women everywhere feel confident and beautiful. So now let's get back to the show.
wasn't trying to make this like a big plug commercial for Keranique, but it's the only solution that I have found in, my 30 years of being in this industry of I'm actually, a trained cosmetologist, an esthetician, a makeup artist. I mean, I've worked in every aspect of this business and had never found a solution for women. There's always been, products out on the market for men, but those are different and not necessarily good for women to use. Is that right?
Hair loss in women is actually different, even if you're talking androgenetic alopecia, which is the genetic thinning again. So men typically lose that horseshoe shape, in through the top. Women, our part just gets wider and wider, and we end up having a global type thinning. So we know that science wise that women thin differently than what men do. And so you need a different ingredient product when it comes to products for women. Supplementation too as well. One thing is very important is to ingest L-lysine, because L-lysine helps you absorb iron from your food. And even if you're eating healthy, as females, we don't absorb iron well. So if you're taking L-lysine, then you can have a better chance of absorbing that iron from your food. So you won't have an iron imbalance, because iron imbalance is also a contributor to hair thinning.
Interesting. And all of
Mhm.
that is included in the supplements that Keranique
Yes, and
offers.
turmeric, and yes, a great blend of several different ingredients in the supplements, and same as product efficacy too as well. There's an exclusive blend inside the products that only Keranique has. So that definitely is contributing to what us females need, right?
Yes, and it's important. Is there any point to where you can't use it? So, for example, my mom at 81, she started using Keranique and started to see her hair start to grow back in. But are there, times or situations where your hair won't grow back using the products?
There is a point in time that the follicle site won't regrow hair, but the follicle site has to be completely died off before you can't energize it at all. So you can
Okay.
still grow, like a thicker strand, a healthier strand. But when the follicle site dies off completely, it is not, there's no product or anything you can use on it that would affect it. So visibly, can you tell when a follicle site has died off? Not without without a scope, but what you can see is like, if maybe a gentleman has lost her hair 30 years ago, and you can see almost kind of that shiny scalp, you can almost be guaranteed, that follicle site, has died off. So no product, is going to affect that. So you can only energize a living follicle.
Okay. But that's rare not to have a
It's
follicle.
rare, right? So, but here's a little fun fact: all the follicles that you're born with are all the follicles you'll ever have. So no
Wow.
matter what marketing spin that you see, you can't create a follicle. You can only stimulate the follicle sites you have.
That's so good to know. That's why I love this podcast so much and talking to experts such as yourself, because it's like we need more education on this so that we can understand
Mhm.
what's right for us and what's not, and get the real, facts.
So, two things when you have great follicle treatment in products. So, two things: not only can you keep the hair anchored longer, but you can also extend the growth cycle. So, if you can speed up that growth cycle, you're going to see, longer hair. And if you can keep it anchored longer, then your overall, density is going to look fuller and thicker. And the other thing that it does is the strand becomes brittle, and then the strand can snap and break. And then, hair breakage is also hair thinning as well. So hair thinning is not just what's, happening at the scalp, but also the strand itself. And the top ingredient for that is hyaluronic acid. And we're familiar with that ingredient from skincare. It's even more amazing in hair care. So you were kind of mentioning earlier, is there any time you should, stop using, a certain shampoo and conditioner? So my advice, and my background as a hairdresser too, my advice is the shampoo and conditioners are so volumizing. They're fantastic. But at least once a week, you should be using the hydrating mask because it has hyaluronic acid in it. So you can actually, you shouldn't be using your volumizing. You can use your volumizing shampoo every day, but your conditioner once a week, you should be swapping out for that mask and allow it to sit for about 3 to 5 minutes. But here's the thing, there's no weight with it.
No.
Hyaluronic acid comes in these different molecular sizes, so it can penetrate all the way to the deepest, innermost layer of the hair, but it holds 1,000 times its weight in moisture, but it's no weight to the strand whatsoever. So on your deep moisturization mask days, you don't have to give up the fullness.
I know, and that's what I love because I love that. I use that like 3 days a week.
It's actually my go-to conditioner. I mean, I use mask every time. I just love the way it makes my hair feel. I
Yeah.
love the luxurious of it. And again, I don't have to worry about any weight. It's
Right, exactly,
movable.
and you've got so much shine, it doesn't weigh it down. I can go a few
Mhm.
days without blow drying and, having to restyle my hair, whereas a lot of times in the past when I used a hair
Yeah.
mask, it'd be greasy when I woke up the next day, so I'd have to
Yeah.
shampoo my hair, but that's a really good point because it's really all about ingredients,
Mhm.
and I think, a lot of times people will ask me, "What's the difference between, what you get in a drugstore versus getting a little bit more high quality ingredients and products such as Keranique for hair care that is really focused on scalp health. It's
Mhm.
also with the hyaluronic acid and the keratin and all the different ingredients really strengthening your hair. Because to your point, I would think even probably equally as much as women are losing their hair because of outside factors, we are completely stressing out our hair between coloring and blow drying and curling irons and pulling our hair back and ponytails and using things that are breaking our hair.
Yes.
So this is really important that we strengthen our hair so it doesn't break like that.
Here's the little hairdresser tip when it comes to heat protection, because I know, yes, that over time, if you're flat ironing your hair every day, so with heat, not only do you want to use heat protection in your styler, of course, but you want to get the heat on and get the heat off. And you always want to make sure you're doing sections that are less than 1/4 of an inch. So what happens is that people take too thick of a section because we
Uh-huh.
get in a hurry, right? We're in a hurry. We don't take all that time to flat iron, but really to do it properly, we'll just use a flat iron as an example. If you're taking, a 1/4 inch section and then you're running your flat iron or your curling iron on that strand, the heat can smooth everything from both sides all the way to the inside. If you take too wide of a section, we end up going slower and a lot more passes. We end up overheating the strand that are on the outside of that section because we can't quite reach the inside. If we just take smaller sections when we're using a tool, the hair would get much shinier, much smoother, quicker than if you just try to smooth out a thick section too many times.
Great advice. Because how many times, you get the curling iron, you're trying to hurry, and you also start seeing your hair smoking.
Yeah, not
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 good.
good. Not good. So,
No,
yeah, heat
no. And
protection
another
is
thing,
always gonna work for, it says 450-degree heat protection, but you can still leave 450 degrees on your hair too long, and it's still no heat protection is going to,
right.
eliminate that damage. So anyway, so yeah, just be careful with the
Oh,
strands. And
absolutely. Lift and repair spray is the heat protection, but also there's a new spray on leave-in conditioner, which I use as well, which I'm addicted to. That has hyaluronic acid in it as well, right?
yes, it's a leave-in conditioner. It's a
I love
lotion. You can spray the lotion in your hand, emulsify it. You can use it wet, damp, or dry hair. I use it to form curls. It gets rid of all the frizz and it has zero weight whatsoever. And if you get up the next day and they're like, oh my gosh, I got a little frizz today or on day 3, but you don't want to restyle your curls, just take a little of that lotion and again, get it really thin on your hands and glide it over the strand and it just instantly gets rid of that frizz. And it's also good for your hair too.
I'm addicted to it. I mean, I use the shampoo, conditioner. I get out of the shower and I use the lift. No, I use the leave-in conditioner, and then I use the lift and repair spray because that protects your hair from heat as for me in Florida, helps combat the frizziness and also gives you even more volume. And then you've got a great little mousse that is so
thin. I swear, I've been in this business for a long time, and I don't talk about products like this very often because I have to really, really like love what I'm using to share with people. But I am so addicted to the entire line that a lot of times I need like a little mousse or something right in here. But mousse is so sticky and tacky, and it just makes my hair like not want to move, and it looks dry. This mousse from Keranique is so thin and lightweight, but I get major volume if I want it. I just, didn't want to look like I was from Texas today, even though I'm an 80s girl and that's how I roll. I would normally be like big hair girl. I love it. But sometimes
Yes,
on the podcast, they only got this much of a
yes,
screen. So I don't want to
yeah.
go too big, but I'm telling you, I like to have that volume. And it's phenomenal how there's been so much research and time and effort really put into creating these products that actually work, don't weigh our hair down, but is really protecting and strengthening our hair. It's incredible. And I would love to add real quick a tip that I share with my clients, and that is get your hair 80% dry before you even take a brush to it to start styling it.
That's a great, great tip. And especially too, because when you blow dry with your fingers first, because your hair strand is so, it's much more sensitive when it's soaking wet. It can stretch a lot easier, and as it's dry, of course, has a lot more strength to it. So that's a great, great tip, Michelle. So yeah, and kind of blow dry maybe the mid shaft and the ends, because it's always going to hold more water because we've got chemical processes and stuff on our hair. And the root area is going to dry 5 times faster than what the mid shaft and the ends. But that's a great tip, to just blow dry, blow dry, blow dry, but not brushing and blow drying until it's about 80% dry. I love that. That's a great tip.
Yeah, and it really does save your hair, and also making sure that you really get a lot of that moisture out of your hair
Hmm.
with a good towel before you even
Right.
start to brush
Hmm.
your hair. And again, you all offer all of that. You even have a little towel wrap that I travel with.
Me too.
Let's
Me
see, what
too.
else can we talk about that I just love? But it's true. I wish I had it with me, but I do travel with it because I love being able to get in the shower. It's a little tiny towel wrap that you just put over your
Hmm.
hair up in it. It's taking the moisture out of your hair while you're busy doing other things, getting ready in the morning. So it's really great. What do you feel is like the most important thing for women to really pay attention to when they start to realize that their hair is thinning?
Lean towards a clinically proven brand and system. There's so much noise out there on the internet, but when it comes to clinically proven, you're getting product efficacy. You're getting an exclusive blend, of ingredients. So I love when it's a science backed brand. I think that is so, so important. And then, of course, to take care of yourself. In addition, to taking care, of your hair. And, we always like to say, take care and grow hair, and it is possible.
Yeah. And for those who you might not understand clinically proven, what goes into that process so that a brand is stamped clinically proven?
Yeah. So, well, if they are clinically proven, they are going to say that, of course, in their marketing materials. So, Keranique actually uses a third party medical photographer. So we're guaranteed same distance, same lighting, same spot, on the hair. So no funny business of like combing the hair a little bit different, and that type of thing. But I think most importantly is we have lots of women that give us testimonials all the time. And, our influencers are not paid. They totally, like us, I mean, they just love the product and they believe in it. And we have so many people that talk about it. So there's just a lot of great women, behind the brand, way beyond, the clinically proven.
Absolutely. And even, with this podcast, The Beauty Shift, Keranique is a sponsor, but They're really about women's empowerment. They're about helping
Mhm.
women not only improve how they look, but how they feel. And it's just been a
Mhm.
blessing to me to partner with you all because we're bringing content not only about how to improve how we look, but really to help women, feel inspired and empowered to improve their lives in any way that they are really seeking to do so. So it's really incredible to me because now in the beauty industry, those of us who work in this industry, I think that we're passionate about it because we love to help people. Bottom line.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Michelle, thank you so much for what you're doing for our industry. I mean, it
Oh,
really, truly is amazing what you're doing for women
oh,
out there. I mean, we
thank
just
you.
appreciate you so much, and you're such a great human. I love telling people about you, and I love telling them to tune into your podcast because you have such
Oh,
interesting content, and it's always heartfelt. It's always from the heart. So we
mm.
appreciate you so much.
No, thank you. I'm gonna cry.
No crying.
That's so sweet. Thank you, Colleen. Well, it's really a blessing, and I'm just honestly so excited about Keranique's not only commitment to helping us improve how we look, but really wanting to help women in every area of their lives. And so it's always a joy for me. And again, I don't share brands unless I absolutely love them because I just refuse to be one of those people who's out there every day sharing a different brand just because they're offering to pay me or send me things in the mail. Because I feel so many people now are being misguided because
Mhm.
of influencers who are sharing information that they're not trained on, that maybe they don't even believe in, but they're doing
Right.
it because of for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
we end up using our hair, our skin, and our bodies as science experiments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's really important that we're educated, which is why I'm so grateful that you took the time out of your busy schedule because you're a speaker, you're an author, you're always teaching, and then you're also working very closely with Keranique and other brands that Keranique is affiliated with to really help in this area of hair loss. And so, thank you for educating us today. It's super important so we can make educated decisions to really take charge of our own hair regrowth journey.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, thank you so much. It's absolutely my pleasure, and I love to helping people as well. And I think it's so great to have that knowledge. It can be very helpful when you're making decisions for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. And I'll let you go so you can maybe have some time at the end of the day for some self care for yourself.
Sounds
I know you're a
terrific.
busy lady.
Well, you are too. So, but thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Colleen, for being such a powerful advocate and expert and joining us today. Isn't she a light in this world? I just adore her. Hair loss is not just about appearance, it's about our identity, it's about our confidence and how we show up in the world. So, if you've ever felt the pain of watching your hair thin or fall out, please know you're not alone and you're not vain for caring about it, right? You have options. And what I love about Keranique is they have so much to provide us with to not only help us regrow our hair, but strengthen the hair that we have and get some vavoom in our hair right away while we're going through it. And pay attention because they did offer a discount for anyone listening today. So make sure you take advantage of that so you can try all of their amazing products. But bottom line, I hope this episode is the beginning of a more empowered relationship with your beauty and your wellness, because that's why I do this. And that is why this is so important to me. I want you to be equipped with all the knowledge and education to make the right decisions for you, for improving your health, your mental mindset, as well as how you look. So until next time, do take care and know you're worth every bit of it.
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Keranique, America's #1 hair regrowth system created by women for women. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please feel free to share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And if you'd like to receive my free beauty and wellness gifts, just go to my website, michellephillips.com. I also invite you to join my social media community on Facebook and Instagram, Michelle Phillips Beauty.